Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to Young Hustlers here on the Cardone Zone every Thursday. This is the place to come and get your money right. If you have questions, please call today, 305-865-8668. My name is Jared Glant. I am the president of Cardone Enterprises, and we created this show so that we could help basically get you where you want to go faster. When I started with Grant, I was 26 years old. Today I'm 35. I just celebrated my 9-year anniversary. I thought it was 10, but it was 9. So it's been an unbelievable opportunity that I've had here. And really when Grant and I are getting through and we're talking about the show and the purpose of the show and what it's about, really we always go back to, dude, what did you do that worked? And so what I try to bring into these shows every week is like two things. Number one, what did I do that worked? What did Grant tell me to do that I did along the way that got me where I am today? Number one. Number two, I try to get feedback from everybody. Like, hey, what do you need to hear? What do you need help with? So I'm always on Instagram. If you pop me messages, I almost always answer. If you have show topics, I'll always try to work them in. And yesterday I posted, I said, what do you have questions about? And I got like probably 84 responses, people asking questions, right? So I can't get through them all, but there was a theme as I was moving through all these questions, and I was like, these aren't the right questions to be asking for a lot of these folks. They tell me their background, they tell me their situation, and they're asking themselves the wrong question. And most of them aren't getting what they want. They're not where they want to be. They think they should be further ahead than they are, but they're not. And so there's all these questions and uncertainties and things that they have. So the show topic, inspired by your feedback today, is called Why You Suck at Your Job. This is a good one. This is a real good one. Let me tell you why. Because when I first started working for Grant, I had to confront the fact that I sucked at my job. And it wasn't until I decided that I was going to find a solution to this problem that things started changing for me. And first of all, you got to be in a position where you can go, hey, I suck at my job. Like if you're not where you're at, like be brutally honest with yourself. If you're not where you're at, if you're not where you think you should be, you suck at your job. Just like, let's just clear the air and get that out of the way. There's no middle ground on this. You're either great at your job or you suck at it. Because if you're average, then you're doing so many things wrong that like you just need to figure out how to get yourself into this greatness area, because there's no value in average. Like when you think about a baseball team or a professional football team or something like that, the people you know are the people that are freaking on the scoreboard all the time, or the ones making all the sacks, or the ones catching the interceptions, or the one, like the star players are always the one that stands out. Nobody knows anybody else in the middle. They definitely know the worst guy on the team, the guy that's always blowing the play, the guy that never gets on the field, the dude that got the big contract but turned out to be a bust. So like you have these two ends of the spectrum, and your target should never be for the middle. Your target should always be, how do I get to the greatness side of this? How do I get to the can't get out of people's head stage of business? How do you become remarkable in your job? How do you get to a point where you become indispensable to your company? If you're not in that position right now, you suck at your job. And I know, because I sucked at my job too. So number one reason you suck at your job is because right now you are more committed to having fun than you are to your future. And this requires that, like, to get through this problem here, like, you have to stop and you have to figure out, like, what are my priorities right now? Are my priorities having fun in my 20s or my 30s? Not having a lot of responsibility, being selfish. Like when you get married and have a kid and tell me that you're not the most selfish person in the world. I know I am. Like I had to confront that. I got married, I'm like, wow, things changing a little bit. Have a kid, you're like, goddamn, man, I was selfish. I am a selfish person. I need to figure this out because now there's other people involved here that need time, attention, energy, effort, and they're not me. So you really need to think with like, where do I want to go? And is that more important than what I'm feeling today? Almost everybody that's successful will tell you this. Like there's a period of time where you have to eat shit. There's a period of time where things suck. There's a period of time where you have no life. Any person who did anything great will tell you that you have to sacrifice today to get you where you want to go, ultimately. So number one, reason you suck at your job is because you're not committed. You're not committed to your future. You're more committed to having fun times on the weekends with your friends and all that stuff. Number two, reason you suck at your job, you don't care enough about your goals to have any goals. And without goals, you'll have no focus. Without no focus, you'll have no ambition. Without no ambition, you'll have no drive and discipline. Like it's just this like massive domino effect, all rooted in the fact that you don't have goals. Like imagine the difference in your life if there's two types of people, I feel like. I feel like there's people that kind of start life, move through life without any real intention or purpose. And it takes some time to figure this out. Don't get me wrong. But what happens is you get too far down the path where you're like, where is this going? Where is this leading? And you end up living in this sort of like day to day, week to week, month to month thing. And then next thing you know, you're like, damn, it's been 5 years and I'm literally in the same spot I was 5 years ago, right? So then on the other end of the spectrum, you have the people that are like, this is exactly what I want, this is where I'm gonna go, and this is what I need to do to get there. They're intentional about what they're doing. Imagine the feeling that that person or that individual has about how much control they have over where they're going. Imagine how much clarity and confidence and security they have knowing that they're pushing and driving towards something that's important to them rather than showing up, doing a job, going home, going to sleep, coming back, doing the same thing, hamster wheel over and over and over again. That's why goals are so important because it gives you that thing where you're like, the goal and the goal and the target and the finish line becomes superior to the thing that you're doing that day. That's how you stay motivated. You get motivated because you're not showing up to do the thing you're doing today. You're doing the thing today to get you closer to your goal. So it's this massive change that takes place simply because you have vision and foresight and intention on where you're going. Third reason why you suck at your job is because you refuse to accept responsibility and you're always looking for excuses. By the way, these first three things I was guilty of. I had to come to a point where I'm like, dude, I work for this guy, I moved to LA, I thought this was gonna be this big deal. He's super successful, how come I'm not winning? How come I'm not where I'm at? Like, what's happening here? But if you're in that point, you have to be brutally honest with yourself and you got to start asking yourself like, dude, why do I suck? Come up with the reason. I promise you, this will help you so much. Come up with a list of things that you're terrible at in your job. I suck at this. I suck at that. And the more brutally honest, the harder it is to write, the more impactful it'll be in moving you towards where you want to go. Because let's be honest, like if you know that there are things that you need to improve, but you're not taking the actions to improve it, then you're going to continue to have a problem and you're going to hang out in this area of that person who has no focus, direction, or drive or ambition because you haven't been able to really confront the things that are holding you back. So you got to ask yourself that question, like, hey, if you want to be in control, then you have to be willing to ask yourself this question. And you can't blame other people. Like everything needs to become something you can control. Everything needs to be your fault. Everything around you, just try this for 24 hours. Anytime something does not go the way that you would like it to, find out how you can accept responsibility for it. It's a game, right? Find out how you can actually like, oh, The board doesn't working. The magic board isn't working. Okay, well, how's that my fault? Well, may not be my fault that it's not working, but it's my fault that I didn't check that it wasn't working before the show started so that we could actually have figured out that it was broken before I started the show. It's not broken right now. It's not broken right now, but I'm just trying to give you an example. Yesterday, this is a great example. I got pulled over driving to work because I ran a red light, and I knew it was red. But I was coming to work because we had our Tuesday meeting. Turned yellow, turned red. I'm like, I ain't going to make it, but I went anyways. And then a cop pulled me over. Okay? Like, if the cop would have given me a ticket, but I was able to get out of it. If the cop would have given me a ticket, it would have taken another 25 minutes and I would have been late for the meeting. Okay? Whose fault is that? Dude, it's my fault that I didn't leave early enough to give me enough time so that if I decided to run a light, if I go all the way back, I wouldn't have ran the red light if I would have had enough time because I wouldn't have been in a hurry to get to the office. You see what I'm saying? Like, everything can become your own problem. Like, everything should become your fault. It's the weirdest thing in the world, but I promise you, it changes your perspective on things in ways that you can't imagine. A sales guy mishandles a customer, calls a customer, does something rude to a customer, hangs up on the customer, does the wrong thing, customer's all pissed off. Whose fault is that? I'm going to accept responsibility for it. It's my fault. I should have spent a little extra time with so-and-so. We should have role-played a situation like this. We should have been able to prevent this from happening if we would have simply done our job, if I would have done my job in the beginning and knew that that type of situation would come up and plan a training program designed to handle that specific type of situation. Find a way to make everything your fault, and I promise you, what you're going to start looking for is you're going to look for ways that you can become more empowered to influence and impact the things that are going on around you. I drank a red line before I came on here, and I'm like foaming at the mouth, man. It's crazy. Do I got my veins yet? Veins popping out of my head? If you guys haven't had a red line energy drink, you haven't lived. Right? It'll light you up. Don't drink the whole thing though, because then you won't live. Then you'll have a heart attack. So you refuse to accept responsibility, and you're always looking for excuses. Number four reason why you suck at your job right now, and these have nothing to do with your job, by the way. Every single thing on this list has something to do with you, and they're deficiencies that you have. One of the traits that I was able to develop after going through this situation, because I had been relatively good at everything that I had done in the past, and I got into a situation where I was not good at what I was doing in the beginning when I started with Grant. Like, I had to start figuring out, like, okay, is it him or is it me? I'm like, well, if it's him, then I'm just going to leave and I'm going to go somewhere else and I may have that problem again. But if it's me, then I can start working through the situations that I'm having and hopefully fix it. Number 4 reason you suck at your job, and this is a killer for people. You're more interested in what people are getting from you than what you are giving to other people. Like this, for people that are employed by somebody else, this is probably one of the things at the top of the list of the things that are holding you down. You're constantly worried about, oh, well, I'm giving this, or I'm giving this, or they're having me do all the blah, blah, blah. Like, you're so focused on what you're giving, on what they are getting from you, that you're not taking control of that and focusing on the things that you're giving. Like, you should shift your focus into, how can I give more? How can I find more ways to be valuable? How can I go above and beyond? Like, if you want to excel in a company, if you want to be more valuable to a company, always give. Like, find different ways, creative ways that you can add value to the organization, because those are the types of people, the people you can rely on, the people that are always forward thinking, the people that are always trying to fill a gap where they see one. Those are the people who end up being successful in companies. You know, I do not own a business. I'm invested in a couple businesses. My wife has a business, but that's not how I made my money. I did not make my money starting my own company. I did it working for somebody else. I was an employee for somebody else, and I was able to get myself in a position, I'm 35 years old today, where I'm extremely successful, more successful than most people who own their own businesses. Because I was always looking for ways I could give. I was always looking for the opportunity. I was always accepting responsibility when I saw something that was out. I was always, if something was being mishandled in video or customer service or whatever, I was always trying to find a solution for it. And because I continued to do that, it ended up moving me from front desk to salesperson, and then from salesperson to sales manager, and then from sales manager to VP, and then from VP to president. Because I was constantly looking for ways to give, to contribute, to do more, to add value, to show up every day and operate within this environment like it's my own business. Like, that's so valuable from a business owner's perspective, to have people in their organization who think like the business owner and who take ownership of the role they're in like a business owner would. And if you're watching this right now and you own a business, there's never going to be anybody who has the connection, commitment, vision, drive, and attention on your business like you do. Nobody will have that level of commitment and dedication. But if the business owner's at 10, you might be able to find people who are like an 8.5 or a 9. Okay? And if you're a business owner, that is the most valuable thing that you can have. Imagine if you're a business owner and you had a string of 5 people who were all 9s out of 10s with their commitment to your business. Because now the business owner starts getting a lot of freedom. A ton of freedom, because they know that they have capable and able people who are committed and dedicated, that are out there pushing and driving the business and making good decisions. So from a business owner perspective, if you can have multiple people like that, it's the most valuable thing you can have. And that's one of the reasons why I've been so successful, because Grant continues to see me take responsibility. He continues to see me produce, perform, and get things accomplished and done as if in me operating as if this were my own business. So you really need to be focused on what you are giving in these circumstances as an employee, because that is the thing that is most important to your role and your growth and development and evolution within the company that you're in. And the last reason you suck at your job is this: you're just not committed to getting great at it. You will never be the most valuable player on the team if you're not committed to being great. You will never be, if you're in a company with 5 people, 500 people, or 5,000 people, if you're not committed to being great, you will never be an all-star, you will never be an MVP, and you will always find reasons to hate on the people within your company that are winning. If you're focused on your game and you're focused on being great and you're able to outwork people and you're able to eat shit in the beginning and make sacrifices that other people aren't willing to, if you're able to accept responsibility, if you have the ability to continue to give and you're focusing on how do I give more, not what are they getting from me, if you can put all of these things together, like, you will become a superstar employee. You will become a 10x employee. You will become the MVP on that team, and they will pay you, because if somebody like you leaves the company, it's detrimental. Like, you become so valuable in your role because of all of the things that you do. You start, it would take 5 or 6 or 7 people to replace you. Imagine if you were in that position. Grant said this one time. He goes, imagine if you were so valuable to the company that you were not dependent on the company for a paycheck. You became so valuable to the company that you weren't in a position where you were like, oh, man, I really need this job. I really need to make more money. Man, I hope they don't change anything if anything were to happen here. But imagine if you became so valuable to the company that they looked at you and said, we could never lose Jared. If anything happened to Jared, we would be set back a long time. That's the thing you should strive for. Like the thing you should strive for in your job, and whether you own the company, you need to have this viewpoint towards your customers and your employees. If you're an employee, you need to have this perspective with your owner. Like you need to be like, how can I become so valuable that it would literally be detrimental to my company if they lost me? How can I become so valuable to my customer that it would so negatively affect them to lose, for them to do business with somebody else, that it would cost them pain and money and time and all of those things? How can you become so valuable that people view you as indispensable or priceless? You start shifting your focus into this and you won't suck at your job anymore. You're going to be freaking unbelievable. And I know because this is exactly what I did. And Steve Spray and Dave wrote, like the guys that have been with us for a long time, Ryan Secco, Sherry Han, like all of these people on our team are people that embody these things. We're constantly looking to give. We're constantly looking to add value. We constantly are looking for more ways to accept responsibility for the things that are happening here. Ryan sees something over here. Sherry sees something over there. Jared sees something over there. And it's not their main thing, but they're still like looking out for it as if it was. So you need to start pivoting the way that you're thinking about what you're doing in the role that you're in. You're never the victim. You're always in control. And if you're the one that's in control, then you can affect the change. So that's my message for you today. Let's go to the callers.
All right, you got Craig in Atlanta.
Craig, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Good. Appreciate the call.
Not a problem, not a problem.
What's your question?
Definitely. So so I'm 22 years old. I'm making about $38,000 a year, and I'm looking to do my first real estate deal. Looking to have low capital to start. Basically, I'm looking into short-term rentals and rental arbitrage and Airbnb. So my question is, should I start with controlling the whole property, such as a house, for rentals, or should I start by controlling a room for rent and listing it on Airbnb for rental arbitrage? This will be my first business, and also, what advice do you have for me before I actually start the business? And also, how can I scale that business once I get it running?
Okay, so start, scale, and then what was the first part of that? Where
Basically, where should I start? With low capital, making around $38,000 a year.
How about this? Let me ask you this: how would you like to be able to find deals, list deals, profit from deals with no money out of pocket?
Oh, I love that.
Right? Okay. So I'm going to hook you up with a guy right now, Natalie. We're going to hook him up with my man Brian, who was in here that did the interview with G. He's got a program that basically teaches people how to go make money with Airbnb, zero money out of pocket, and will allow you to build a portfolio of properties that you manage for people, and you make a spread on the lease. That's exactly what I do. But you got to have the right information in order to do that. There's a process and a system that this guy uses. He's crushing it right now. I'll have Natalie give you the info. But the way that you scale that is you continue to show up every single day and you think like a business owner and not as a salesperson. Because in the beginning, you are a salesperson. And no matter who, we're interviewing a lot of people right now. And I tell people, even people that are coming in for executive roles, I'm saying, look, you are coming in to be the head of a division. You are coming in to be a business builder. But the first hat that you have to wear is salesperson. Because every role is required to produce on our team. It's part of our culture. It's part of our DNA. If you can't produce deals on your own, then you will not last here. You will not last in this environment because it's such a crucial part of our culture to have everybody constantly producing. So you need to, number one, get great at the sales thing. And some advice that I'll give you is anytime you're starting anything new, multiply by 10x rule. Multiply by 10 the time you think it's going to take for you to start making money. People ask me this all the time. They're like, hey, what do you think about MLM? Is MLM a great opportunity? They say I can make part-time income. I say, look, here's the deal with MLM. If you go in and you go, I'm willing for part-time income, I'm willing to invest a year of part-time work, the majority of the time, I'm not talking about the outliers or the exceptions, the majority of the time, you work part-time for a year in network marketing, at the end of that year, you might have $1,000 a month in part-time income. That is recurring, residual, built income. Maybe $1,500, most of the time. There are exceptions for people who go to $10K a month in 5 months or 4 months. But I mean, like you're talking about the top piece. And the problem that most people have with MLM is they don't go in with the right expectation of how much work it's gonna be, how long it's gonna take. I watched Sandy, my wife, do this with a MLM that she joined. She busted her ass for a year, and I think she got like full-time. She was doing this full-time all day. She busted her ass, and at the end of a year, I think she was making $5 or $6 grand a month. Full-time, all out. She didn't make any money for the first 4 or 5 months, and then actually things started picking up towards the end. But it's just work. Like if you think you're gonna get around the work, if you think you're gonna start an Airbnb business and you're gonna get around calling hundreds of people a day and going and visiting with hundreds of property owners a week, if you think there's a way to get around the work, you're gonna be disappointed. There's no way to do it. It's not possible. Stop looking for it. If out of 1 million people, there's a way to do big sales, big revenue, big income without a lot of work, it's for 5 out of the 1 million people figure out a way to do it and get lucky. I mean, that's really the reality of it. Otherwise, it's gonna be a lot of work, a lot of rejection, a lot of failure, a lot of sacrifice, and as long as you go in and expect all that, if you expect the worst case scenario and it's better than that, then you're pleasantly surprised. But you have a better shot of winning with the right expectations than you do going in thinking it's gonna be a home run out of the gates. Thank you for your call, Craig.
You have one more caller?
Who?
Steven in Georgia.
Steven, what's going on? Thanks for the call.
Hey, how you doing, Jared?
Good, brother. What's your question today?
My question for you today was, my name's Steven. I'm 25 years old, and I live in Georgia. I'm a UPS driver. I make around $80,000 a year. I've been working this job for probably the past 2.5 years, and I'm just finding myself kind of being, I don't know, just drained of this. I mean, I'm good at my job, and I take pride in my job, but it's literally kind of wearing me down every day. It's not something I'm necessarily passionate about.
Yeah.
My passion is to be an entrepreneur and to be able to start my own kind of brand and to be able to reach out and help people. That's really what I want to do. But I'm finding that my job is taking up so much of my time, and not only time, just like my energy as well. And I every day I get off, I go work on my own thing, and I stay grinding, and I know that's what it takes to make a difference and to really do something special in my life like I want to do. But sometimes I'm not able to get done a lot of the stuff that I feel like I should be getting done, and it's coming back to just not having the time to being able to work on something because I'm having to provide for myself. I mean, I have bills and everything else I have to take care of, so I have to continue to work. And I don't know, trying to talk to a lot of people around here, or try to talk to maybe my friends or family that's close to me, they don't really understand where I'm coming from because all they look at is just how much money I make and how great a job I have. But I'm just, I don't know, I'm just kind of looking for advice on.
Yeah, I mean, look,
that.
like anytime you have a target or a goal in your head, like you say, hey, I want to become an entrepreneur. Like if that's your goal, and you don't know the pathway to get from where you're at to your goal, you're gonna be confused and you're gonna be lost. Like even your goal, you say, hey, I wanna be an entrepreneur and I wanna have a brand and I wanna help people. Like it's so vague. Like you can't possibly think that you're gonna be able to show up and do your job every day as a UPS driver with this dream or this fantasy of, hey, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur and I'm gonna have all this and I'm gonna blah. Like you need to start like putting some meat around whatever this idea is. Like whatever the deliverable looks like, whatever the the product is, whatever the sales process is, whoever the customer is, whatever the products in the inventory are, like you need to start working into this so that you know exactly, like if you would have called and said, hey, I'm a UPS driver, I've been there for 2.5 years, I make $80K a year, and I'm trying to find more time because I really want to be an entrepreneur, and I have a company where we're like the Uber for dog service, where you go through the Uber application and we can pick up your dog, we can take him to the vet, we can take him for a walk, we can do all that stuff. We've already got the MVP created of the app. We're beta testing it right now. It's in the App Store. I've got a part-time, like if you start moving into that, then I'm like, okay, there's actually a connection to the vision and the focus of where you're going. But right now, if where you want to go is murky and where you want to go is not specific and it's not clearly defined and you haven't taken the time to go through, and this just isn't about you, Stephen, this is about anybody with a goal, like where they want to go in the future. It's like if you started in San Diego and somebody said, you got in a car and you said, I want to go to New York, and you had no map. Like you're going to be driving around, you're going to end up in freaking Des Moines, Iowa, and you're going to be like, this is not what I expected. Like, this is not exciting. This is not fun. There's nothing to see here. Like you're going to lose so much of the momentum that you have to drive into the target because you literally don't even have a map. But worse yet, I want to go on a drive somewhere, and you just get in your car and you start driving. Like eventually you're going to be like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I hate this song. My car sucks. Man, these roads are terrible. This town's freaking ugly. Like you start hating on everything because you don't have a purpose and you don't have any like the thing that you're moving towards is not solid. This is so important. Like anytime, even my trainer, dude, my boy, Anthony, this morning, what was it, yesterday? Yesterday morning, we were working out and I was like, dude, like, where do you want to go? Like, what's your ideal thing look like? Like 10 years from now, what's your ideal life look like? He's like, man, I never thought of that. I was like, bro, you're one of my boys. Like, you're one of my best friends. We're with each other. Like, I hang out with you more than any other one of my friends. This is the most important thing you can ever do. You have to get clear on this because otherwise you're going to end up in the hamster wheel. Next day comes, next day comes, next day comes. 15 years go by and you look back and you go, dude, what happened to my life? I'm miserable right now. I'm not where I want to be. And then you have to make a decision of trying to make sacrifices and changes when you're way down the road in life, which become more painful because you have family, kids, obligations, bills. Or you end up not doing anything at all and you just live the rest of your life miserable. None of that sounds fun to me. So it all comes back down to like really digging in to what you want. Like that's it. You got to figure out where you want to go, where you want to be, what you want it to look like. Work all the way backwards. And when you end up at today, realize that you might have to do something you don't like doing to get you ultimately where you want to go. I saw a video Gary Vee put up. He's like, dude, if you can make 140 grand working for somebody else or 80 grand working for yourself, you should work for yourself. I don't know if I agree with that. Dude, if I know that my thing is not working for myself, but it's some other target or goal, then if money is the thing that's going to get me there, you need to chase the money. You need to get that money. Get the bag, yo. You got to get paid. Now, if your goal is to be your own boss and you don't really care about the quality of your life or anything like that, and you're just like, I want to be happy, I want to be my own boss, and I want to show up to my own thing, then that's the thing you should do. But for most of us, when we work into our ideal scene, setup, scenario, life, whatever, we go fast forward and we're like, man, money is going to be a pretty important part of this. So then you need to work back into, hey, what's happening today? What's going on today? So that I can actually move towards my goal, my target. You suck at your job right now, but you are in full control of turning things around. if you do these 5 things. Quick recap. Number 1, you need to be more committed to your future rather than having fun. Number 2, you've got to care about your goals and your targets and your dreams. Number 3, you need to accept responsibility. Find ways to accept responsibility for the things that are going on around you. Number 4, be interested in giving, not just getting. Be interested in giving, not just what you're giving. Oh, all I ever do, I work for the man. All I ever do is bust my ass and work all these hours, and they don't even pay me, and they don't treat me good. You're focusing on the wrong things. And number 5, you got to get committed to being great at what you do. The only way you're ever going to get paid like you're great is to be great. The only way you're going to get paid like you're exceptional is to be exceptional. No shortcuts, no other way around it. So you suck at your job right now, but you can do something about it. I look forward to seeing your comments and your love and your hate for this show. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you share the post. Make sure that you comment. Hit me up on IG. Huh? Yeah. Hit me up on IG if you have questions. Major announcement today. First speaker for the 10X Growth Conference is going to be announced today. We are going live at 5. 10xgrowthcon.com/live. Can't wait to announce our first speaker. You're going to love who this speaker is, and I can't wait to share it with you. Live at 5 today, 10xgrowthcon.com/live. Remember, the only people who condemn the hustle are the ones who've already given up on the hustle themselves. We'll see you next week.